Hey crypto heads, I'm Ryan from Awoke to Crypto. Thanks for waking up and being here with me. This is our news segment where I go over the latest crypto news, offer some insights and opinions. If you've heard this once, you've heard it a million times. I am not a financial advisor, so this of course is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, let's dive in. We're going to go over some of the bigger price jumps over the past 24 hours, including Presearch and FTX, or the FTT token. We've got news articles attached to those, but before we do that, I'm going to go over just the top three and just some insight on, or some thoughts on those. So we got the big three. We got we'll go over the big two to start off with, of course, Bitcoin, BTC, and Ethereum. It's interesting. We've got Ethereum up 9% over the past 24 hours, hitting 3,700, getting close to 3,800, and you got Bitcoin at 5.5%, and it's at 4,900. It's straddling that 50,000 line. And what I find fascinating about this is that Ethereum seems to be leading the way over, and it's not just today, but it's been over since May almost. The narrative is typically that Bitcoin leads the market, and it has been, and historically it always does, and it will, I'm sure, again. But it shows over the past 30 days and even over the past 90 days that actually Ethereum has been the one that's kind of been leading the market and leading the other coins. If we go and we take a look over the past 30 days, Ethereum's actually up 50% compared to the US dollar, whereas Bitcoin's only up 29%. And then if you look over the 90 days, you've got Ethereum up 40% and BTC up 34%. So ever since everything crashed back in May, Ethereum has actually been regaining its place since May, stronger than Bitcoin's been able to. And now Bitcoin's at that straddling that 50,000 line, and we're waiting for it to break through, and hopefully once it does, it will start regaining its dominance and taking charge of the market. But it's just fascinating to watch Ethereum kind of, as of right now, almost decouple and lead the way, even if it is just for a short time. The biggest gainer over the past 24 hours is Presearch. They are a crypto search engine that built on top of Ethereum. They have seen a 98% gain over the past 24 hours. This has brought their price up to 13 cents. They were at something in the 6 cents range before this. The reason they have seen such a huge jump in the past 24 hours is because it was announced, or it started today, on September 1st today, that tomorrow if you're watching this video, that they would become pre-installed on all Android devices in the UK and in Europe. This starts back in 2018. Google had gotten fined by the European Commission of Antitrust Regulators $4.24 billion, accused for antitrust regulation violations, essentially for asserting search engine dominance, meaning that they were only allowing their search engine, the Google search engine, on Android phones. It makes sense, and we can all see how that happened and why they did that. And so after, I'm sure, paying that fine to prevent that from happening again, they are now putting other search engines, or putting this search engine, Presearch, as a pre-installed option. And so that went effective as of September 1st in Europe and the United Kingdom. All new and factory reset devices in the UK and in Europe will come with Presearch installed on it. So doesn't mean people are going to use it, but it's there and available for them. That is a huge platform and a huge opportunity for Presearch. Of course, you're going to have to get people to switch from their Google and what they know, but it is a huge opportunity, and that's definitely one to keep an eye out for Presearch. There's huge potential there if people start to give it a chance and give it a try. Let's talk about FTX, or the FTT token, and why it's up 36% over the past 24 hours. So the FTX exchange acquired LedgerX, and this caused a 36% spike in the token price. So FTX is an exchange founded by Sam Bankman-Fried and Gary Wang. Fried and Wang have their fingers in many crypto pies. Elevated Research, which is connected to Solana. Fried's a crypto billionaire. So these guys are legit. And FTX, an exchange that has been making moves left and right over the past 6-8 months, if not more. They've brought on Tom Brady and Giselle as brand ambassadors, partners. They've partnered with the sponsorship with MLB. They bought naming rights to stadiums. They left and you name it. They're making moves. And the latest being they acquired LedgerX. And the reason this is a big deal is LedgerX is a fully licensed US-based options and trading platform. And so let's break down why that's important. So FTX is a exchange and trading, derivatives trading platform, but they have limitations inside of the United States. So FTX has a full scope of options of what you can do outside of the United States, and then they have a separate, basically, entity that operates inside the United States called FTX US, and it offers a narrower scope of options of what US-based customers can do. There's fewer tokens, there's fewer options of what they can participate in and what they can do. That is due to them abiding by US regulations. It's the same thing as if you participate in the difference between Binance and Binance US. Big difference between what Binance offers and what Binance US offers. Same thing. Same type of thing. Same reasons due to regulations, much stricter regulations in the US. So the reason why FTX bought LedgerX is, again, a fully licensed US-based options and trading platform. Well, FTX US obviously wants to abide by these regulations and get licensed so they can offer more. So this kind of circumvents some part of that process for them. So instead of having to go out and go through the steps of getting fully licensed, it was just easier for them to buy someone who already is fully licensed and bring them in-house. So for that reason, now FTX essentially has those licenses. So and for that reason, that caused the 36% spike in their price. So FTX is an exchange that for good reason has been spiking, and it's one that I personally am watching, that I expect to keep increasing, that I see them being one of the top exchanges in the next year or two, rivaling Binance at some point here. They are making all the right moves. They have seemingly one of the smartest guys in crypto, that founded them and backing them, making the decisions. So they're one I would keep an eye out for. The one that I'm keeping an eye out with. So last news story we're going to go over is former U.S. president calls crypto a disaster waiting to happen. All right, let's dive into this one. So Trump was on Fox Business being interviewed, and he was asked about the state of Wall Street, current administration, and his thoughts on cryptocurrency. And so, of course, the only thing we care about is his thoughts on cryptocurrency. And so I'm just going to read you his quote. "I like the currency of the United States, but I think the others are potentially a disaster waiting to happen." He continued, "The cryptocurrencies may be fake. Who knows what they are? They are certainly something that people don't know very much about." Okay, that's where I want to kind of dive into this. And this is one of the biggest problems with cryptocurrency that I when I'm speaking to other people is, and I don't even blame them. Trump nailed it. People don't understand what they are, right? And that's as myself, as an advocate for cryptocurrency, as any of you watching this video, I assume you're a believer in cryptocurrency. It's our jobs to educate those we're talking to on it, or at least I view it as my job to educate those. And so again, one of the big problems is there's a huge misconception of what cryptocurrency is. And so and right there in that quote, Trump nailed it. And I don't even blame him on the misconception of what cryptocurrency is. And that being is that everybody thinks, those who haven't researched it at all, think that all cryptocurrencies are trying to replace the dollar or the yen or the euro. And it's understandable why they would think that, right? Because they're called a currency, right? So they think that every cryptocurrency is meant to be a currency in the way that we think of traditional currencies. But the reality is that's not the case, right? Yet there are some cryptocurrencies out there that are meant to do something like that, right? You have your XRPs, your Ripples, your Stellars, or something like that. And Bitcoin eventually, it was originally thought to do that, right? And Satoshi made it as invented it that way, created it that way. But even now, we don't necessarily view Bitcoin as a currency, that everyday currency. Now it's evolved more to a store of value. But look at Ethereum, prime example. Does anybody view Ethereum as an actual currency? No, it's a technology. It's a smart contract platform, right? It's a technology that an entire ecosystem that developers are building on. And so even though it's a cryptocurrency is still accurate description just based off of that it is a conduit. It's a way to fuel it. But at the same time, it's inaccurate because it misleads the public in thinking that Ethereum is meant to replace the dollar. And it's one of the biggest problems with the term cryptocurrency that I find personally is there's that huge hurdle of people trying to understand that we need to convey to them that a cryptocurrency, actually, most of these aren't at all meant to be, most of them aren't meant to be replacements for any kind of currency. What they are is these self-contained technologies. And they are a currency in a way that you use them to spend in their own ecosystem, in a way that kids are buying V-Bucks to spend in Fortnite, or that, it's in a way that you would, if Apple came out with the Apple Buck, so you could, when you're buying songs off of iTunes or something like that. The reality is that cryptocurrencies are an evolution of, they're not a stock, they're not a commodity, right? And that's why both the SEC and the CFTC can't decide what they are. That's why our regulators are arguing. But they're kind of a combination of both, right? It's an evolution of both of them. And so, but they're like both in that they're an ownership of, they're like a piece of the company, but you buy it, you own it. It's part of the company. That's why we're buying and valuing the company. It's going up right now in the market. That's why we love it. But at the same time, we're incentivized to spend it back into the company to use that technology. And that's the part that people don't understand. It's not that I'm buying Ethereum because I want everybody else to use Ethereum or Cardano or Polkadot or Harmony or whatever it is, because I want that to be the currency that we all use to replace the dollar. But the reality is that you use that to use the revolutionary technologies that are the blockchain, that the DeFi systems that are there, that everything else that is being built on them. I mean, just think how absurd it sounds to say something like Chainlink is meant to be a currency that is meant to replace the dollar. Oracles were never intended to be anything close to that. So this article I find fascinating because it's been something I've been, everybody I talk to who's new to crypto, who ask me a question about it, this is one of the first things they ask is, why do we need 10,000 different currencies? I'm like, that's the problem. And I don't blame anybody new to crypto. 90% of them, 95% of them aren't trying to replace the dollar. Some of them are, absolutely. But most of them are just self-contained technologies, and they use the currency as this lubrication for the system that they're built on. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I think that's one of the biggest hurdles we're dealing with. And I'm not the first one to say that, is educating people so they can understand what they're looking at, what they're dealing with. So, all right. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There's gonna be more to follow. So hopefully you enjoyed enough to watch the next one. I appreciate you guys. Thanks.